Are you ready to go out? We're going out for breakfast. You're wearing your little peanut vest. Look how adorable you are. And your little sockies. And your little sockies. Yeah. Is that Layla? Yeah. Are you ready to go? Are you ready to go? Yeah. We're getting ready to go to the park, Layla. Yeah. Yeah? I love that it's going to hand knit season. Yay. You're wearing the socks. You're wearing your socks. There we go. They're still plenty big enough at the front for her to go into them. Yeah. Hey guys, so today is Sunday the 10th of September and yeah, I didn't actually end up recording all that much yesterday just because, well, my battery died partway through the day, but also it was quite a busy day in the end, but also because I was with Perry, and like I've mentioned before, I find it really awkward to vlog when I'm with other people, even if it is my own husband. So yesterday we headed out for breakfast. We left a little bit later than we'd planned, but headed out for breakfast and then walked around a bit outside. We came across a couple of weekend markets and stuff as we were strolling around, so that was nice to sort of walk past and check out. And then we were home for a bit, and then we headed out again in the afternoon to the park near our home by the river. There was some sort of art show thing going on, so we went and checked that out, and then we just went and hung out at the park. I took the Cozy Memories blanket because it's slightly bigger for the three of us, and laid that out. We just sort of, you know, Layla got to play around a bit, I got to knit a bit. She's just talking to herself now. The apartment's a bit of a mess right now, so, but she's over there in her toy. I got her this little play box thingy majiggy. It also plays music as well, so that's quite nice. It's like a little music box as well. It's a little activity station for her. She's starting to be able to sit up now, so I thought having something like that would be fun for her to play with when she's practicing sitting. She's really going for it, whatever she's doing over there right now. I haven't actually done the pom-poms yet. I really wanted to get that done this weekend. I'm hoping to be able to work on that a bit this morning. Terry's out this morning actually. He's meeting a friend for breakfast, so I thought I'd catch you guys up on what we've been up to. I worked a little bit on this last night, which is the little nugget sweater for my sister-in-law, or for my nephew rather. So I finished the sort of cream stripes. I'm onto the first of the two green colours. So the body's almost done, and so that'll be quick. It's pretty quick knitting. I just haven't had a lot of time to dedicate to it. And I finished that pair of baby socks out of the blacker brushwork, but that's on the radiator drying. That's actually the only one of Layla's baby socks right now that I have blocked, essentially. I washed it in a bit of baby shampoo, and yeah, so that's laying to dry. I also knit the first half of another pair of socks for her. Yeah, so it's using the same texture pattern that's on the mix and match sweater, and because I'm actually planning on writing up a little baby sock pattern. It's not going to be overly complicated, it's just going to be a simple little recipe. I'll probably have 2 or 3 sizes in there, and then I'll also include notes with a basic sort of formula on how you can basically come up with your own numbers and stitch counts for based on your child's foot size. And this pair that I'm knitting is out of some leftover of this yarn, which is, I think it's Pelouse Yarn Company, or it's a BFL nylon blend, and I think the colourway was Blackberries. This was sent to me by a lovely viewer, and I used it in the crochet rainbow blanket that I made for Layla. So that's leftovers from that. And someone's got the hiccups, it sounds like. But yes, so I worked on that a bit yesterday as well. I also am working on writing up a pattern for a baby hat, and then also an adult hat version, and it's again based on the mix and match sweater concept. So you have 2 options for the brim, 2 options for the main body of the hat, and 2 options for the crown decreases. So it's going to be a nice sort of accompaniment to the sweater. And that will come in both child and adult sizes. It will be I think it will be sold as a single pattern, but the pattern will be split into 2 PDFs, so there'll be the child sizes and then the adult sizes, just to make it easier to navigate and keep track of the numbers. So yeah, so I worked on that last night, got those patterns drafted. I just need to knit up a couple of the samples just to make sure the numbers are all working out okay. I think they should be fine. And then yeah, so that's what I've been working on for the last couple of days, basically. So I actually have a couple of other bits I want to show you, and these came in the mail literally since I last recorded, so in the last couple of days. So the first thing that arrived, and this actually came on the Friday afternoon after I'd recorded, are these 2 amazing bags. So these bags were sent by the lovely Rick of Whimsy Stitches, and he contacted me about donating a prize to the podcast, which I'm always happy to accept prize donations for the podcast, and he sent this amazing Wonder Woman bag to be used as a prize, and it's a really decent sized bag. Like, it's pretty huge. You could easily, I mean, I would easily be able to fit a fingering weight sweater project in there, or at least the start of a heavier weight sweater project as well. It's a great shawl size bag. It's really well constructed. It's nice and thick and padded. It feels almost like it's got quilt batting in there, and I love the fabric. DC Comics Wonder Woman. If I can do this one-handed, open the top to show you the inside, and they've all got his bags have these D-ring and lobster clasp handles on them, so you can either have this on here, or I think you could probably attach it to the zipper pull if you wanted. And so it's bright yellow interior. There we go, it's got its card at the bottom there. So actually, let me grab that to show you. It's card out to show you, and I realise it's got its like address and everything on here. So I'm just going to cover all that in case he doesn't want that to be online like that. So it's Rick of Whimsy Stitches. I love his titles. Chief Zoologist, that's great. And So that's his email address and website. All the social media stuff on the back there. And I'll try and have this linked in the below the video on YouTube. So this will be for a podcast prize at some point. I have a couple of ideas of what I might use this for, so stay tuned. And then Rick very generously sent me this project bag, which of course rainbows. I'm not surprised he knew that about me. I don't think I keep my love of rainbows a secret by any stretch. And he also sent an adorable little needle cozy and a little rainbow stitch marker to go with it all, if that will focus. Adorable little stitch marker to go with it too. So yeah, that's really, really fun. I think I might actually have a pair of socks popped in here to take to Rhinebeck with me because this is so fun. And it's actually a drawstring bag, this one. I don't have too many drawstring bags. They're not my general favorite, but I actually really like this one, and the drawstring on it works really well. It's smooth, it's not too clumpy. I mean, some drawstring bags can feel quite clumpy at the top, but because it's got this clear vinyl bit, my biggest gripe with drawstring bags is they don't stand up very well on their own, and it's why I really like the zippered bags, because they tend to have more structure to them, and I like to be able to have my bags sort of stand up independently to work almost like a bucket. So I always fold the tops of my zippered project bags down so the zip's not in the way, and then the bag stands up on its own without flopping over all the time. And that's why I really prefer them to drawstring bags. But this one, the vinyl, clear vinyl bit in the middle, gives it that structure so it can stand on its own. I mean, there's nothing in there at the moment, but it has a perfectly boxed bottom bag and it stands on its own. So this will be great. This is like the perfect hybrid of all the things that I love in a zipper bag, being able to stand on its own whilst being drawstring, which means this is going to be great for on-the-go knitting, so I can have this off my wrist. I can have the drawstring cinched up most of the way and then still have an opening for the yarn to come through to be able to knit from. So yeah, I really love it. So thank you so much, Rick, for sending this my way. And I've only ever heard good things about Rick's bags, and I can see why. They're really, really good quality and really well made. So if you're in the market, make sure you check him out. And the other thing I had to show you is from the lovely Kayleen of Little Bean Loves Yarn. She has I contacted her to see if she'd be interested in coming up with a custom colorway for me to for a design I had in mind, and she of course said yes. So she came up with this beautiful sort of burgundy red. It's coming up a lot more warm on screen right now because I have the lights on, but it's a really lovely sort of deep, rich, warm burgundy red. And the inspiration that I gave to her was sort of like a Christmas, like a deep, rich Christmas red, without being, you know, too Christmassy, if that makes sense. I didn't want like a real royal red or anything like that. Because I'm going to use this to knit up the final sample of that baby dress pattern that I have come up, well, I say come up with. I reverse engineered from the dress that my aunt had knit me. And this is on her MCN base. It's super plump and super soft. Perfect for baby, for being worn by baby next to skin. So she's called this custom red. I think Layla's happy too. This is on her Luxe sock base. And you see all the details there. This is actually the very first MCN that I've seen, which says, where the instructions tell you that it can be machine washed and tumble dried. So that's interesting to know. I'm not sure I would actually do that with an MCN, but it's interesting to know that this could be machine washed if necessary. So that's cool. And then Kayleen, being as sweet as she is, sent along this little lovely sock blank of hers, her ball band. So she sent me one of her sock blanks in the rainbow colorway. Again, I don't think my love of rainbows has escaped anyone's attention. And this is on her everyday sock. So it's a superwash merino nylon blend, pretty standard sock yarn. But I actually really like the space of hers. And this is what it looks like. I love these sock blanks that she does. They almost look like they've been like marbled. You know, did you guys ever do that painting with marbles when you were kids? We did it. I remember doing that at school and it was so much fun. But yeah, so it's beautiful, beautiful rainbow colours. So you start out with the reds, into oranges and yellows and greens, into blues and purples at the end. So absolutely cannot wait to work on these. Actually, you know what? I think this may be my Rhinebeck sock project. The rainbow sock blank with the rainbow project bag. That's kind of perfect, I think. I don't think I could have planned it any better, to be honest. There we go. I think that might be my Rhinebeck project. We shall see. I may not be able to wait until then to cast it on, but so yeah, I think that would be quite fun to work on. And just so I do knit my socks 2 at a time, or at the very least concurrently. I'm sorry if Layla's being a bit loud in the background. She's a baby, she can do that. What I typically do when I knit from a sock blank is I still knit my socks 2 at a time or concurrently. I either wind half the blank into a ball, and then I knit one sock from the ball and one sock directly from the blank. Or I have some in the past also just basically folded the blank in half, not been too precise about it, but you know, roughly folded it in half. It's hard to do this one-handed. Find the center point and then snip the first couple of stitches and then just unravel it at the halfway point, so then you have 2 equally sized blanks and then knit from them like that. But for Rhinebeck, to avoid the issue of pulling from a sock blank and them getting tangled in the bag or stuff like that, what I may actually end up doing is just wind the whole thing up and just cake it into 2 separate balls to avoid any issues like that. But I do absolutely love this. I think it's going to be beautiful, and thank you so much to Kayleen for both this yarn and this one. I can't wait to get this wound up and on the needles. So yay! I still need to actually type up the draft pattern for this dress. So once I've done that and made some slight modifications, then I'm going to get cracking with this, and I cannot wait. Hey Layla. Layla. Yeah. Hi honey. Hello. Yeah. Who's got hiccups? Who's got hiccups? Yeah. Yeah, so really quickly, Layla's now down for her nap, and I'm hoping to finally crack on with trimming these pom-poms and getting them down to a more beautiful looking pom-pom shape. We will see how it goes. I love making pom-poms. I love like the look of pom-poms. I'm not the best at making them nice and perfectly round, but hey, it's handmade, it's homemade, it doesn't have to be perfect. But the other thing I wanted to talk about really quickly was our plans for today. So I meant to mention it earlier, but I didn't. And also, get this, we've opened all of our windows and we've turned all the air conditioning off because it's cooled down enough now that we can just like air out the apartment with outside air, and it's really nice. So this sounds really weird, but I'm so looking forward to it. I'm wearing my cardigans around the house more, and it gets a little bit chilly, so that's really nice. And turned all the fans off, everything's off, which is great. So on that note, we've been trying to figure out, especially since we're leaving New York now, that, you know, we want to really make the most of our weekends, especially when we get good weather weekends. I don't think we're going to have that many between now and when we have to leave. Like, the weather's only going to get worse gradually as we get into winter. So we want to make the most of the good weather days, which is why we went out for breakfast yesterday and went out in the afternoon. And I think today we are planning, anyway, fingers crossed it all works out, we're planning to go to the Central Park Zoo. Now that's basically walking distance from where we are. It's about a half-hour walk. So we're planning on doing that once Perry gets back from his breakfast with his friend, and after Layla's had her lunch, then we can head out. And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. It's been on our list of things that we wanted to do. Going to the Central Park Zoo. I don't think either of us have ever been, so it'll be fun to go with Layla and yeah, see how she takes it. I mean, she's still quite young, but hopefully she'll enjoy it. And yeah. So they're done. I've trimmed them all up a little bit so they're all slightly more nicely rounded. They're not perfect. I think once I get them hanging on the embroidery hoop, that'll focus. I think once I get them all hanging on the embroidery hoop, I'll do one final little trim of them. And yeah, but I really like how they've turned out. I've done 2 different sizes of pom-poms based on the 2 pom-pom makers I have. And one of the reasons why I didn't manage to trim them very perfectly is I don't have great scissors. For some reason my fabric scissors, which I would normally use for pom-poms to get like nice sharp scissors, they're buried deep somewhere, and I need Perry's help to lift a couple of heavy bits so I can actually get to them. So once I've attached these to the embroidery hoop, I will see about doing some final little bits of trimming if it's necessary. But yeah, I'm glad I did that. That was a good job done. We all ready to go to the zoo? Yeah? We are ready to go? Layla wearing her little sweet pea dress. Yeah? Yeah? You ready to go? Parrots, Layla, and you just want to touch the wall.
The rain is exploding.
And we're seeing the birds, not the bats.
Maybe a little bit. Oh,
Morning guys. Today is Monday the 11th of September. Yeah, so today's actually my mum's birthday, so I'm looking forward to seeing her in a couple of days so I can give her a big hug. But yeah, so I'm here today. It's just me and little Miss Layla. Hey. Perry is actually off in DC today. He's got a work thing for a couple of days in DC, so he gets back tomorrow night. Sorry if you can hear all the noise outside. The weather is so lovely, we've got the windows open, so no apologies, but just letting you know what's happening with the noise. And yeah, so he's gone for a couple of nights and then he gets back tomorrow night, and then really early Wednesday morning we're heading to the airport to go to Vegas, so that should be fun. Yeah, having a good time. So this morning so far, Layla's had her milk, I've had my coffee. Yeah, and I got a few rows in on the second pair of socks, second sock for a pair of socks I'm knitting for Layla. And I'll show you here. So I showed you the first one the other day. This bag is really awesome, by the way. This bag is I'm actually not sure where it's from. A friend of mine gave it to me as a gift a while back. It's my initial on it. But I showed you this one the other day and the lighting was terrible, so hopefully you'll be able to see it better now. So this is one of my baby socks from the sort of sock recipe that I put together for Layla, and this is using the mix and match texture pattern on a sock. And I already mentioned, I think earlier, that I'm planning on just writing up a simple sock pattern for baby socks with a with notes on how you can adjust based on your baby's foot measurements, and also giving I'll probably give two or three sort of general baby sizes in the pattern, like 0 to 6 months, roughly 6 to 12, and then like maybe 1 to 2 years, approximate baby sizes. And obviously then you can adjust based on actual baby measurements, based on the formula that I give. And this is using some BFL nylon, which is actually really soft considering it's BFL. Usually BFL yarns are a bit more rough, but it should be fine. And yeah, I've just finished the ribbing on the second sock, ready to get going. And this little one keeps grabbing my cables. She actually yanked, she managed to hook the cable with her foot as she was rolling over at one point and yanked the needle out. So that was fun. Thank you for that, Layla. But the other thing that I finished over here, I did it. It's the little baby mobile, the pom-poms for my sister-in-law that I was talking about. I did it really long for now because I don't really know, I can't remember how tall their ceilings are in their house. So I figure if I make it tall or longer, then it's going to be a lot easier. They can, you know, they can shorten this bit as much as they want. I put in another knot here and then one at the top there, so they can adjust this quite easily to be a length that they like. So yeah, all I did was I just, if this will focus on the, there we go, I just tied the pom-poms on with knots, double knots, onto the embroidery hoop. What I actually did is I tied a double knot in the yarn first, and then I split the two strands. Not sure if this is going to be focusing on what I'm talking about. Then I put the knot at the bottom of the hoop, split the two strands, and then tied a double knot above it, so that gives it a good sort of like sturdy place to sit. And you can still also, if you loosen the outer hoop, you can shuffle things around to adjust where you want them to be. So yeah, I'm really happy with how these have turned out. I haven't trimmed them any more than after I last showed them to you, and I think they look okay, to be honest. But you know, it's pretty easy to just trim them a bit if necessary. Yeah, and I really like how that turned out, so I hope she likes it. It's sort of just a mix of yellows and a bit of chartreusey green in the back of there, blues and teals, and some greys. And I like how that's turned out. She's always super happy when she's wrapped up in knits. So it's a fun way to pass 5 or 10 minutes with her. Keep her distracted. Yeah? Right, so just put Layla down for her morning nap. She was getting very grumpy, so she went down a little earlier than usual. I've pulled out this month's, or last month's rather, August's sock prize package. So there's 3 prizes for the end of August, as there has been for every month. So I will be drawing those winners later, and I'll be recording a prizes video, which you guys will have probably seen by now, because it will go up today, hopefully. And I also have some pattern prizes to announce winners for, so I will do all that. And then, yeah, I think that's gonna be it for now. Right, so I thought I'd check in really quickly and show you that these are now done. Finished that pair of socks, all finished. So yeah, really like how these have turned out. And also, I forgot to show this yesterday, once we got home from the zoo. Yesterday was a really knackering day. It was lovely, it was a nice day out, but to be honest, by the time we got home, Perry and I were both pretty knackered, and Layla refused to have a nap in the afternoon, because when we're out she never sleeps long enough for her lunch nap, so she always has another nap in the afternoon. But yesterday for some reason she was just refusing, so there was that. But I just wanted to show that yesterday when I picked this up, I started in this green stripe. So I'd finished the cream stripe the day before, so I knit all of this yesterday. So basically the only knitting I did was this, and I'm pretty much about 2 rows away from binding off on the ribbing. Just last night we were really tired, and I could have stayed up and done it, but I just decided to go to bed. And I'm really glad I did. Layla actually slept really well last night, so all 3 of us got a decent night's sleep, so that was good. I mean, she still woke up earlier than I would have liked, but she slept well, and didn't wake up overnight at all. So that was nice. So that's that. Finished these. Gonna try getting as far as I can on this ribbing. Hopefully Layla will sleep through till her normal wake up time. She's got about another 25 minutes. 25 minutes, half an hour before she's supposed to wake up. And this is my current obsession for snacking. They're dry roasted edamame beans. They've just been salted. Literally the only ingredients are the edamame beans or soybeans and salt. So that's been my healthy snack of choice, basically trying to cut out things like crisps and biscuits and things like that, and this satisfies that sort of salty, crunchy craving. So yeah, there's that. I've finished binding off the bottom of the sweater. It's really adorable. It's so cute and Christmassy, but also not obnoxiously Christmassy, which I like. We'll do the neckband next, and then weave in some ends before moving on to the sleeves. And Layla has just woken up, so that's perfect timing. So I'm gonna go grab her now. Hi Layla. Hi honey. Yeah. Yeah, you had a good nap. Did you have a good nap? Getting some singing practice in with her new toy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do you like it? I think she likes it. So I'm in our bedroom right now, and Layla is hanging out on the bed with her new favourite toy. She's fine, don't worry, I'm keeping an eye on her. She's just enjoying playing with it. And I have a big box of yarn. This is all the acquisition stuff that I showed on the podcast, and a couple of things that came recently which I also showed. And I have more stuff on my desk here, which is just a little bit ridiculous. I need to print off a few things to take to Vegas and just have printed, and also what do I need to do? I need to update a couple of things on my laptop, and I just thought I'd do it in the bedroom for a change. I also need to start pulling stuff out that I want to pack for me. I've done most of Layla's things that I can do for now. Everything else will be done tomorrow or after she's gone to bed tomorrow night. The last bits to pack up for her. So most of what I can pack now for her I've already set aside, and then I just need to grab all of my bits and then figure out what needs to go into hand luggage, what needs to go into a checked bag. We're checking one bag just so we don't have to be carrying too much stuff with us onto the plane, and it could just be a little bit less stressful. Also because one of our hand luggage allowances is going to be Layla's stroller. So the little lightweight one that we bought for traveling is actually collapses down enough to be a hand luggage size, which is great, and which is one of the reasons why we got it, which means we can have our own stroller throughout the airport right up to the gate. And even if they need to gate check it, then that's fine, but at least we can take our stroller straight to the gate. Hey guys, so just got Layla down for bedtime, and I just really quickly wanted to show you, these are the socks that I made for Layla out of the brushwork yarn sample that I was sent. Brushwork yarn sample, Blackie Yarns brushwork yarn sample that I was sent. Jeez, I'm clearly quite tired. It's been a good day, but it feels like a lot's, I mean, not a lot has happened either, but it's just been very I just don't feel like I had any time. I don't know how that happened, but anyway, so this is the new brushwork. It's the birthday yarn for Blacker this year. It's a sport weight. It's a woolen spun, whoop, and it's a wool alpaca blend. Really soft, really good drape from the alpaca, really soft and springy, lovely to knit with. It is totally softened up after washing. And yeah, and I did my pebbles sock pattern on this one. So how these have turned out. I haven't actually tried them on Layla yet, but I'll try them on her tomorrow and we can see how that looks. And I was going through sorting out some stuff earlier, and I realized I completely forgot to include this kit as part of the prizes for this month's sock club. So I think I'm going to save this, and on the next podcast I'm going to randomly draw a winner from the sock club finished objects thread. I'll draw from the entire thread a random winner for this one, because I did say I was going to use it as a prize for that thread, and that's exactly what I will do. But it will just be on the next official sit down podcast that I do. I will draw a winner for that one. So I'm going to leave this out so I don't forget to do that. Morning guys. So today is now Tuesday the 12th of September, and yeah, so me and Layla had a pretty good night last night. Actually yesterday in general, even though I felt really crap, like I felt really bad yesterday, it may or may not have come across in the vlog, but yeah, I didn't feel particularly great, but we had a really good day. Like as far as Layla was concerned, she ate really well, she slept really well. Even the night before she slept really well. She basically slept through, and she woke up around 6:15 yesterday morning, which earlier than I would like. We kind of aim for a 7:30 a.m. morning start, but we were doing fine with that for a long time. And then once we hit 5 months and she started eating food, she started waking up a lot earlier in the mornings. Typically it's now between 6 and 6:30 most mornings. Occasionally she wakes up earlier than that, but it's usually between 6 and 6:30, which is manageable but not ideal, because it just means at the other end she ends up going to bed earlier, which just kind of perpetuates the whole waking up early thing, it feels like anyway. So I do my best to try and stretch her out to like a 7 p.m. bedtime and try to get back on track that way. I'm just really, I don't want to say concerned or worried or anything like that, because I'm not really. At the end of the day it'll be fine, but I really want to get her onto like a 7 or 7:30, you know, start to the morning, because in less than a couple of months the clocks are going to go back, and then her current 6 a.m. wake up is going to turn into a 5 a.m. wake up, and I really don't want to deal with that. I'd rather slowly start pushing her to an 8 a.m. wake up closer to when the clocks turn back, so then we get back to a 7 a.m. wake and run our days like that sort of thing. And I'm trying to do it more gradually rather than trying to shift her schedule too quickly closer to the time. And also because now my parents are coming over, then Perry's parents are coming over, and then we've got a couple of trips coming up and stuff. It'd be nice for her to be awake a little bit longer in the afternoon, evening time as well anyway. That's city life for you, sirens and horns and stuff going off. We still have the windows open. I've been so... I'm so excited that we're actually able to have the windows open. Basically we've had the windows open pretty much since Saturday and haven't closed them, so that's been fun. I don't know why the focus is going all funny. There we go. And yeah, anyway, so she's been doing really good. Like I said, yesterday was a really good day. I just felt really crappy all day. So it's that time of the month. And whilst there was nothing particularly wrong with yesterday, I just felt really rushed the whole time, even though like I wasn't. I didn't feel like I got much done, but I did. And I don't know, I just felt really tired by the end of the day, but it wasn't a particularly tiring day. It shouldn't have been. I just think I was low on energy. I usually am around this time of the month anyway. But having said that, Layla slept really well last night. Like I said, she ate really well yesterday. And as a result, she slept really well. She did start stirring around 4:30 in the morning, and the problem is when she starts stirring, I wake up. I'm quite a light sleeper anyway, aren't I? Yeah. And so I start stirring, and then but I left her to it, and you know, she kept falling back asleep. So she was shifting between being awake and then falling asleep for a while, and then waking up again and falling asleep for a while since 4:30. But the last time I remember her waking up, it was around 6:30, and I remember thinking, okay, well, if she really starts protesting, then I guess I'm gonna have to get up, because it sort of seems to be the usual time she wakes up. But I thought I'd leave her until 7, and then I'd get her up at 7, because that's what I try to do. So I'm hoping that she will maybe learn that 7 is the time to wake up and not 6:30. Who knows, maybe I'm just wishful thinking. But I kind of just leave her in there and get her up at the time I would like to get her up. As long as she's not crying, obviously. I go to her if she's crying. If she's just talking to herself, and she's fine. Yeah, so I left her, and then I fell asleep, obviously. And then I woke up at 7:45, and she was still asleep. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's that then. So we got up at around 7:45. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. And yeah, we've had our morning, well, she's had her morning milk, and I've had my morning coffee. She's at that age now where she just wants to grab everything out of my hands. Anything that I'm playing with, anything that I'm using or eating or drinking, she just wants. So yeah. So now we're just having a bit of playtime, aren't we, Papa? Hey. So just having a bit of playtime before she has her breakfast solids. Oh, no, Layla, okay. Also, I was thinking, I was importing a bunch of the footage so far. What I might actually do, I was planning on just doing a week-long vlog and posting it at the weekend. I might actually try to, well, try being the operative word, I might try to edit the vlog, everything that I've done up until the end of today, tonight, and upload that as one vlog, and then do Vegas as a separate vlog, because I have a feeling otherwise it might end up being really long. I mean, at the moment I have about 50 minutes worth of raw footage up to yesterday. Obviously that's just raw footage, it's not unedited. So I figure after today there might be another 20-30 minutes of raw footage to go in, so that's, you know, just over an hour. So if I can edit that down and then it'll be under an hour, I usually tend to cut about half of the stuff out, then that might be a good that might just be a good vlog on its own, and then do the next half of the week as a separate one, and then it'd be more manageable that way. So yeah, we'll see how it goes this evening. It depends on how I'm feeling. If I feel like I did last night, then I probably won't get to it, but I've done most of the packing now. Like I got the suitcase, I say suitcase, we've got a little rolly suitcase and then stuff. So most things are packed now. I just need to do the final bits once Layla goes to bed and Perry gets home and like adds his stuff to the pile, and we'll figure out everything. So this is the baby jumper that I'm working on for my nephew, and yeah, I don't think I showed it to you after I finished the ribbing and popped on the button band, the collar. So that's what it looks like with the ribbing. I always use Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy bind off, pretty much for anything that's for ribbing always. And I like how it looks. And because the collar is you pick up and you knit the collar afterwards, it's all the edges are going to be finished the same. So I quite like that look in it. And yes, this is pre-blocking, so it looks quite sort of skinny and long, but once it's blocked I think it will widen a little bit, which is fine. And yeah, so that's what that looks like. Alright, so Layla's now down for her morning nap, and I thought I'd show you this. I started it late last night, which probably wasn't a good idea because I kept making stupid mistakes. But this is the little baby hat pattern that I'm designing to go along with the mix and match sweater. So it's going to be, you can get the sweater on its own, you can get all the patterns on their own, but there's going to be a set version as well, so you can get all three together. It's going to be the mix and match sweater, hat, and then I'm also going to do the socks pattern as well, baby socks pattern. Now I'm not entirely sure if the sock pattern is going to be ready in time for when I want to release the sweater and the hat, but there will be a note that the sock pattern will be added later and you will get it within the price of the set bundle. It will just come as an update later, and then the socks will be released for individual sale as well. So this one, like I mentioned before, there's going to be both the child and adult sizing for the hat. And I don't know how well you can tell at the moment, but I've done the version on the brim with the high-low brim, so it's higher, shorter at the front, and the brim is lower at the back. So the idea being that when it's being worn, it will cover more of the back of the neck area as well. So yeah, I'm just into the body. The body's almost at the length. So there's three sizes in the child size. There's a sort of newborn slash baby, baby slash toddler, and then toddler slash child size. And so this is the middle size. This is the baby slash toddler size. And yeah, it's coming along nicely. And I'm using the leftovers from the Maker's Haven Layla yarn that Amber sent me. It's on her DK merino base. So lovely. I love the tonality and the colours of this. And yeah, so this should be finished soon. This was going to be one of the projects I took to Vegas with me, but I think I'm going to have it finished before tonight, so I have to double think on that one. I might take, I don't really want to take this sweater because it's just sleeves, and there's, you know, I'd have to pay attention with the decreasing and stuff. I mean, it's not complicated, but I just don't really want to have to take something that I have to pay that much attention to. So I may just take scrappy sock projects for Layla, and I have another pair of socks that's already started on the needles. I've just got the cuffs done, so I might take that as well. So we'll see. So these are how the socks look on Layla. These are the blacker brushwork socks that I knit for her as to test out the yarn. I really like it. It's come up super soft. Listen, keep your foot still. Camera can focus. It's come up super soft now after it's been washed, and because I don't have any wool washed, I just used a bit of baby body wash stuff, that a shampoo thing that we have in the bathroom, and yeah, gave it a gentle rinse in the soak, and then washed the soap out, laid it flat to dry. Nope, she's a kicker. I don't normally put her straight on the rug. I was just taking some pictures, so I'll move her in a second. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know that I thought it was super squishy, super soft. I mean, there is room in the toe still for her foot to grow, but the actual foot, before I started her decreases, I think I probably could have knit that a couple rows longer just to stop this from slipping a little bit. I mean, it's not a big deal, it's not like she's actually walking wearing these socks, but when she kicks around a bit, the heel starts to slip, and I think that's just because the actual foot wasn't quite long enough. But I was concerned about running out of yarn, so it's okay. They're wearable, and she doesn't seem to be uncomfortable by it, which is great. So there's that. And I actually have some balls of blacker brushwork in a different colour to give away, which I will be doing next week. I'll be hosting a giveaway for that on Instagram. That's part of the whole rundown to my birthday type of celebrations I'm doing at the moment. So I had actually knit the whole hat, finished it off, done all the decreasing and basically finished the hat whilst Layla was sleeping. But then I tried it on her once she woke up, and it was quite a bit too short. So went back to the drawing board, pulled out everything I'd done during her nap time, which wasn't, it wasn't too bad really. It was only half an hour's worth of knitting. So pulled it all out, got the stitches back on the needles, and they're all facing the right way. And yeah, so just picking back up where I left off before the crown decreases, probably going to add another inch to the length of the hat before I'll try it on her head again before I bind off this time. She was sleeping, so I just sort of went ahead and did the crown decreases and thought, well, worst case, I'll rip it out. So I finished the hat. Layla refused to sleep for her lunch nap. Yeah. Well, she only slept for half an hour, so we're going to try and squeeze in another nap later, aren't we, Bubba? Yeah. Anyway, so I've re-knit the hat longer this time, and like I said, this is the medium size, the middle size for the child sizing, and yeah, it fits really well. I mean, there's definitely room for growth. It's not too tight or too small or anything. She's laying down now, so it's hard to see, but there is a little knotted I-cord at the top. Yeah, you're going to roll over so everyone can see? There it is at the top there. It's really cute. The way this hat sits now, because the back is longer, the brim of the back is longer than the front, yeah, it almost sits more like a bonnet on the head. There we go. Okay, Layla, you're going to have to cooperate here. See, it covers all the way down the back, covers her ears, and it gives a good coverage around the back of her neck, which would be good in the winter time, won't it? And it also means the hat sits more snug on her head. Uh-huh. Yeah? So yeah, the hat sits more snug on her head as well. So I'll take it off now. But, ooh, come on. I haven't weighed it yet to see how much yarn it used, but I still have some leftover yarn after finishing this, and I had about 50 grams left. So less than 50 grams to knit the middle size. So I'd say the largest child size will probably only take about 50 grams, or maybe a little bit more than 50 grams. I'm not sure, because I haven't knit that one. But there it is, the little knotted I-cord at the top, which I think is so adorable and really cute. If this will focus. There we go. I think it's really cute, and it's really quick and simple to do. This is one of the options on the hat. So the options with the hat is start at the bottom, is the brim. You can either do like just a regular brim or this high-low brim. Yeah? What is your opinion? What do you think? What do you think? Huh? You got nothing to say now? Okay, so you either get the high-low brim option. Then with the actual body, you can either do it in the texture or you can do it in plain stockinette. So that's totally up to you. And then the decreases are just done in stockinette again to keep things simple. And to be honest, once you're wearing it, it's not really all that obvious. So for the decreases, you have the option of doing just simple decreases where you just bind. You finish like you do with a normal hat, or you can continue and do this knotted I-cord finishing at the top. So there again, like with the sweater, there are plenty of options. There are 2 options for each stage of the hat, and yeah, I'm quite happy with how that has turned out. Yeah. So I've decided. Well, I weighed the hat, and it weighs, I think it was like 36 grams, so really didn't use all of the yarn. So this was how much I had left from that second skein, and then I realised I actually had this left over from the first skein as well. So I have all this leftover yarn still. There's still close to 30 grams, I think, of yarn here, if not more. I can't remember now. I did weigh it just a few minutes ago. But what I'm thinking of doing now is DK weight pair of socks to match with Layla's hat and sweater. That way I'll have gotten an entire set of clothing out of 2 skeins of DK yarn for my baby, which would be pretty awesome. You can see here how the hat lies a bit clearer. It's not quite folded in half properly, but you can see the front is shorter and the back is longer. So that's really fun. And so I'm going to make the mix and match socks but at a DK weight, and I'm going to be using 2.75mm needles, Chaggy's, if that focuses. So I'm probably going to get that cast on now and probably finish that this evening before we leave. And then I've decided what I'm taking with me to Vegas is a bunch of baby socks for Layla to knit to work on. I've got one in this project bag that I'm going to take with me on the plane, and I have some more scraps that I've got in a suitcase. And then these four I'm going to put together to make a baby mix and match hat for my nephew to go with the little nugget sweater that I'm making for him. For some reason I can't find the other skein of the darker green that I used. I don't know what's happened to it. I had 2 skeins of each of these, and I'm using one of each for the little nugget sweater of the whatever was left over from the blanket, and these are just the other 4 that I could find. I don't know what happened to that 5th ball. I don't know where it is. I've had a look everywhere around me where my knitting lives. It seems like the knitting, I don't know, gnomes or fairies, goblins, whatever you want to call them, have run off with it. So this is more than enough for a hat anyway. I'll just do 4 stripes instead of 5. He's a baby, he's not going to care. It will be fine. And then whatever's left from these I can then knit, if I still have time, which I highly doubt. I can knit some little itty bitty baby socks. I've grabbed this pair which I knit for Layla when she was newborn. Well, actually I knit for her while I was pregnant while I was still pregnant, but these are a newborn size. They were a little bit long for Layla. I was surprised. I genuinely didn't think a baby's foot was ever going to fit into this, but they were a little bit long for her, so I'm going to modify it slightly, but maybe make the leg a little bit shorter or do more rib. But I want to test out or sort of figure out the formula for the baby size for the pattern that I want to be writing up. So the pattern's going to have sort of a newborn size, then a 6th-month size, a DK weight size, and then notes on how you can customize it to be whatever size you want depending on your child's foot measurements and things like that. So it's going to be a relatively simple, relatively basic pattern with a few like given instructions, but it's going to be more of a recipe that you can use based on your gauge, what weight of yarn you're using, because the recipe will work depending on whatever weight of yarn you want to use as well. And yeah, and so you can figure out that way. And to be honest, like I say, this is for a children's pair of socks, but the recipe will work for adult socks as well if you really wanted to. But I say mostly for children's socks because children are very different. You don't have a specific shoe size, you know, at different age groups, so this will be a good way to figure out what to knit for your child. So yeah, I'm gonna get cracking with some of that. Hey guys, back again. This might be the last time I check in before calling it a day with this vlog. Like I said earlier, I'm gonna stick this all together and do one for up to now, and then another one for the rest of the week. So since the last time we spoke, like I showed you the hat that was finished. I finished the first sock. Now I weighed the yarn and I thought I remembered how much it was, but I might have been a bit off. Either way, I don't think I would have had enough to finish both socks out of the Maker's Haven yarn. Once I got to about just past the heel, I realized I might not have enough. So I went stash diving in my scraps and I found this purple. It's Quinsico Chickadee. Can't remember the colorway, but I think it was like aubergine or something like that. But found this, that's what I was trying to say, which is a very close match for the purple in the Layla colorway. It's not quite the same, it's a little bit warmer, but it's a close enough match that I think in the finished sock it looks like it goes. So I basically finished off the last few rows of the foot and the toe out of this color. But once I finished it, I weighed it, and then I weighed how much I had left of the Layla yarn, and it turns out I have just the right amount of the Layla yarn left to knit the second sock entirely out of that yarn. So what I could have done was I could have gotten to the toe and then switched to the purple and done both socks with contrast toes, or done one with the contrast toe and one with the contrast heel, but it doesn't matter, it'll be fine. Even if only one sock has a contrast, like bottom half of the foot and toe, then it would be quite cute, I think, still. And then that way I'll have used up every last scrap of this yarn from Amber, which is great. And Layla can be all matchy matchy. I've started the second one. Look how tiny that is. It is so adorable. And yeah, and the only other thing that's changed is I showed you the 4 skeins that I was going to use to make the hat for my nephew, and I think I'm actually only going to use 3, just because I think that will be a better balance of colours, and then the other one I'll take with me and I can use to make baby socks for him. So that's the plan. I think once I finish this second sock, I may cast on for the hat, I may not. I still have a few things that I need to sort out this evening before I can go to bed. Perry's on his way home, he'll be home in a couple of hours. I ordered food again today just for dinner, because I'm just too tired. I ordered in last night as well, but went for a healthy option today. Well, actually last night as well, to be honest, but something different. I went for Vietnamese, so that should be interesting. Haven't tried Vietnamese food in a while. So yeah, other than that, Layla went down pretty easily. She's asleep now, so hopefully she'll have a good night's rest. We're gonna have to get up early tomorrow morning anyway, so ironically, now that she's started to sleep better, I have to wake her up early. So it goes. And so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how she handles the flight and how she handles the time difference. I know it's not a big time difference. I think it's only 1 or 2 hours between here and Vegas, but it'll be interesting because they're behind us, which means that if she typically wakes up at 7, for example, then she'd be wanting to wake up at 5. So here's hoping things go okay, and we will just see how the day goes tomorrow. It's just going to be an interesting experience either way. As for what I've done knitting wise this week, since I podcasted, I haven't done a whole ton. Let me just see if I can grab everything to just do a quick little review for you guys. So I finished the body of the sweater, the little nugget sweater, and I did the neckband. I actually omitted, what I forgot to mention before was the pattern has instructions for adding like a button closure and opening if you wanted the ribbing the neckband to be to have an opening to be able to make it a little bit wider to go over the baby's head. I found with the one that I've knit for Layla in the 0 to 3 month size, I've not needed to use it, so I just didn't bother with that for my nephew's one either, just for simplicity. Plus I didn't have a nice button that went with it, and I just wanted to get it done at this point. So that's how far I've gotten on that, and I don't think I'm going to take this with me to Vegas, just because, yeah, I don't want to have to be dealing with that while we're there. Then I finished off the pebble socks I knit out of the Blacker Yarns brushwork, which I already talked about, and I also finished up this pair of socks, which is using the mix and match texture pattern out of this is the BFL nylon yarn that I had left over. Ooh, dinner. That was quick. I wasn't expecting food to get here quite so quickly. So yeah, those were the 2 pairs of Layla socks that I finished. I also finished this hat. I started and finished that today, and then lastly this pair of socks, which I've just finished the first one. The second one will also be finished tonight probably. It was really quick. So that pretty much sums up everything that I've knit this week. Again, a lot of leftover yarn being used up, but it's still nice. It's a good feeling. And yeah, so I think I'm going to sign off now before the doorbell rings, and I will see you guys soon.